This class is important for third sem diploma electrical students, and today we will discuss about dielectric losses. So in our previous classes, as we have already discussed about this dielectrics, we will now continue about their losses, which is known as your dielectric losses. So in case of electronic polarization, the electrons undergo only very little displacement and remain within the limits of their atoms and ions. So due to this polarization, they remain within their limits since their displacement was very small. So electronic polarization is set up within extremely small, and the time duration is very less. Even the time a half cycle of an alternating field is completed, the electrons are able to shift their their extreme position. So students, the typical frequency in India is 50 hertz. So that means in in a second, or in a 1 second, there will be 50 cycles per second will be completed. So you just imagine that in out of those 50 cycles within that second, the half cycle, during that time only it will shift its position. So it is very small time. So even by the time a half cycle of an alternating field is completed, the electrons are able to shift to their extreme position. Electron displacement in this type of polarization is elastic in nature. When the polarizing field is withdrawn, the electrons return to their original position. All the energy absorbed in setting up the electric field, which was responsible for ionic polarization. Example: the energy required for charging a capacitor is completely released on its discharge. The process taking place during the capacitor is completely related on its discharge. The process taking during or the process taking place during the collapse of electric field. So therefore, the ionic polarizing will give rise to only reactive current, and there will be no active dielectric power loss involved. In the case of polar dielectrics, the orientation of the dipoles in the electric field is not pure elastic. It involves overcoming of certain internal friction. So this internal friction which it overcomes can be called as your dielectrics. So it is also the amount of energy which is irreversible and is wasted in the form of heat in the dielectric can be called as your dielectric losses. Further details of dielectric losses are given in your previous chapter. Now, electrical conductivity of dielectrics and their breakdown. Gaseous dielectrics. The electrical conductivity of all gaseous dielectrics is identical. Air is the most commonly used gaseous dielectric. So quite usually we use air as a dielectric medium, and it is present quite everywhere. It is present everywhere. So it is cheaper also, so we can use air, and it is the most commonly used gaseous dielectric. The primary constituents of air are nitrogen and oxygen. So students, this nitrogen and oxygen are the major constituent of your air. Under the influence of various natural ionizing factors, example cosmic rays, ultraviolet rays, and some ionization takes place in air, the natural ionization gives rise to equal number of free electrons and positive charge appearing at the same time. The natural ionizing factors are unable to ionize all the air molecules because ionization of a new molecules is counterbalanced by recombination of previously formed ions with the free electrons. So recombination takes place whenever the continuous random thermal motion of the gas particles brings an ion close enough to a free electron. So students, for a conduction, a free electron, the participation of a free electron is very essential. So here also the natural ionization factors are unable to ionize all the air molecules because ionization of a new molecules is counterbalanced. How it is counterbalanced? By recombination of previously formed ions with the help of free electrons. Recombination takes place whenever the continuous random thermal motion of the gas particles brings an ion close enough to a free electron. Unless subjected to an electric field, there will be no direct motion of these free electrons. Now, there will be no flow of current through the gaseous dielectric. So, under the influence of an electric field, the free charge get a motion and give rise to electric current. So, it is very important. So, under the influence of an electric field, the free charge get a direct motion and gives rise to an electric current, which is known as your leakage current. Free electrons will move towards the positive plate, whereas the positive plate will be attracted towards the negative plate. Positive ions will be attracted towards the negative plate. Now, the conductivity of gaseous dielectric thus may be deemed to be both as electronic and ionic. Now, if the applied uh, electric field is very mild, the random motion of the free charges will be predominant over their directed motion due to the applied field. Thus, on weak electric field, the leakage current will be negligible. So, when there is the uh, this voltage is very low, or you can say which is not very high voltage. So, what will happen? This leakage current will be neglected. Now, if the electric field is further increased, all the free charges will be directed towards the two plates. Now, if you will increase this field, however, what will happen? All the free electrons will be directed towards it. Now, towards the two plates. Before they can recombine and all charges produced will reach the electrode. Now, and the leakage current. Now, the important thing is the leakage current, as at this stage will be independent for the electric field strength. That is the uh, apparent voltage. If the voltage applied is increased further, the free charges will acquire sufficient energy to knock out electrons from their neutral atom by collision. So here, if the voltage is increased, in already in your semiconductors we have understood that what happens to a atom when a voltage is increased. So here also, if the voltage is increased, we can knock out an electron from its stability state or from its normal state. We can knock out the electron from the last orbit so as to make it participate in the conduction of current. Now, each newly freed electron gets accelerated to a very high speed due to applied electric field. So here, as we have already increased the voltage, what will happen? The knocked out electron or the free electron gets accelerated to a very high speed. This is due to the increased voltage, and this in turn knocks out an electron from the other gas atoms and ionizes them. This process is known as ionization by collision. Due to ionization by collision, the number of free charges increases in geometric progression and the strength of the leakage current. So students, you might have already I mean this GP and AP, that is your geometric progression and arithmetic progression. You might know this in your mathematics. So here also this increase is increased by the geometric progression. In the form of geometric progression, it increases, and the strength of the leakage current increases rapidly. So the leakage current, which is undesirable, this current is increased rapidly. The conductivity of the gas or your dielectrics is as in the under the influence of the applied potential is as in the diagram. So here you can clearly see the graph between your voltage and the leakage current. So leakage current through a gaseous dielectric as a function of applied voltage is shown to you. So from this figure, the voltage at which the sudden increase in leakage current takes place is a gaseous dielectric, and it is called as your breakdown voltage. So this is known as your VE, and let me just show you in this diagram. This voltage is known as your VE, right? Now, and this VE is known as your breakdown voltage. Now, liquid dielectrics. All liquid dielectrics easily get contaminated with some impurities in the form of solid particles which become suspended in such dielectric. Another contaminant is hygroscopic liquid. So all of you might know what are contaminants. They are the unwanted particles present in a matter. So by the addition of these impurities, what happens is they become suspended in each dielectric. So one type of contaminant is your hygroscopic liquid dielectrics in water. All these contaminants give rise to conductivity called as impurity conductivity. In all the commercial liquids, dielectrics, the impurity conductivity plays a very significant role. The basic molecules of a liquid dielectrics get dissociated under the influence of an electric field. Dissociation of molecules causes conductivity. The degree of dissociation of the molecules of a liquid dielectric depends upon the molecular structure. Neutral molecules are less capable of dissociation. Dissociation means to get separated out. So the neutral molecules are less capable to be dissociated than the polar molecular molecules. This is why dielectrics having low values of permittivity have low conductivity. So this is a very important conclusion, that the dielectrics having low values of permittivity have low conductivity. Now, contaminants in liquid dielectrics can increase the conductivity under the action of the applied electric field. When the electric or the dielectric is placed in an electric field, the contaminant becomes electrically charged and may act as a current carrier. The effect produced by the contaminants depends upon their concentration in the liquid. In practice, to keep a liquid dielectric in uncontaminated condition, they are purified several times, but unfortunately, more thoroughly the liquid dielectric is purified, the more difficult it becomes to keep it uncontaminated. So this is really a threat that you have just seen, that if you will require liquid dielectric to be purified, the more difficult it becomes to keep it uncontaminated. Now, a breakdown in a contaminated liquid dielectric may occur due to the formation of conductive bridges between the electrodes by the contaminants drawn into the inter electrode space by the applied electric field. This is predominant if some fibrous particles are present as contaminant in a dielectric like oil. So if the dielectric in oil these fibrous like impurities exist, and the fibrous particle will absorb moisture and are liable to arrange themselves into a continuous chain extending from one electrode to the another or the other. So there may be a breakdown of dielectric through the bridges thus formed. At the place where breakdown occurs, considerable amount of heat will be produced, which will result in conduction flow of the liquid dielectric. This will break up any bridge formed and the dielectric strength will be restored. So, but after some time, another conducting bridge will be formed, causing breakdown again. So, this will go on, and the breakdown will, and there will be a breakdown. There will be the cause of the breakdown. It is, however, obvious that in a uncontaminated liquid, such as conducting bridges cannot be formed. So, breakdown of uncontaminated liquid dielectrics is caused due to ionization of the gases of present in the liquid. Gaseous products, including air, may be present in the liquid dielectric due to many reasons. The applied electric field ionizes the gas present in the dielectric and the places in the dielectric where this gas exists. The electric field intensity rises and causes further ionization, resulting in ultimate breakdown of the dielectric. Now, solid dielectrics. Now, here the conductivity of solid dielectric may be ionic, electronic, or combined. So, student, under this solid dielectric, this electric conductivity of this solid dielectrics can be ionic or electronic, or it may be the combination of the ionic and electronic. As in the case of liquid dielectrics, the electrical conductivity of solid dielectrics also depends upon the presence of various contaminants. So, what are the contaminants? They are the impurities. In most dielectrics, this impurity dissociate more rapidly to form ions and free electrons than the dielectric containing them. At the lower temperature, the volume of dielectric conductivity of solid dielectrics may be wholly due to the impurities, but at increased temperatures, the magnitude of the leakage current may depend upon the contribution of free ions of the basic dielectric to electric conduction. Now, the breakdown in solid dielectrics may be commonly by either electrothermal or electrical depending upon the prevailing condition. This electrothermal breakdown is caused by the destruction of the electric or your dielectric due to heating produced by electric losses. Solid dielectrics are poor conductors of heat. Dielectric losses in this dielectric increases very sharply with increase in the temperature. If the heat generated is not conducted away rapidly through the dielectric, then there will be thermal breakdown of the dielectric. So students, this dielectric medium, if it is oil or we know that in transformers the dielectric medium used is oil. So if this medium is not having the property to liberate heat, what will happen? This will ultimately lead to the breakdown of the dielectric. If a particular applied in a particular applied voltage, the dielectric is not able to radiate away the heat generated due to dielectric loss. Already we know the dielectric loss. What is it? It is due to the friction of the molecules, intermolecular molecules, and due to them these losses can be called as your dielectric losses. So if this heat is generated is not radiated away, what will happen? And if the applied voltage is kept for a longer period, what will happen? The material will be charged or melted, thus short circuiting the electrodes. Electric breakdown of solid dielectrics is caused by factors which have not yet been clearly understood. So still this has been ongoing researches. So we are still trying to find it out what is the exact reason of the breakdown. So no universal acceptable theory of electric breakdown has yet been developed which may apply to all solid dielectrics. Nevertheless, on the basis of investigation so far made, it is inferred that most of the problem mechanism of electric breakdown in many solid, particularly crystal, is collision ionization by electrons. When the electric or the when the applied electric field accelerates the free electrons in the dielectrics, the electron lose part of their kinetic energy through collision with the particles in the dielectric, which are torn away from the place of their fixing. Now, properties of dielectric, it is very important. So what are the properties of this dielectrics? First of all, the material. So the factors, I mean the materials are air, alcohol, asbestos, cellulose film, cotton fabrics, dry impregnated, ebonite, glass, flint, crown, mica, paper, dry impregnated, porcelain, quartz, fused, rubber vulcanized, resin, silica fused, silk, sulfur, water, paraffin wax. So this all have different values. You go through the table and you need not have to remember all the table. Just remember, just try to compare them. Suppose I will take the example of air and alcohol. I will consider the dielectric constant of air is 1. Let me show you. This is 1, right? And what about suppose air and your cellulose film, right? Cellulose film is 5.8. So there is a difference. So in this, comparatively, I can just understand which will be the better one, right? So try to compare them. Now you check out this table. Now we'll discuss about the application of dielectrics. It has been mentioned earlier that the function of a dielectric is to store energy. It is the sole function of the dielectric to store energy. The most common example of the use of dielectric for the purpose of storing energy is in capacitor. So students, you might have seen in the capacitors, we are using dielectric only for the purpose of storing energy. There are various types of capacitors available in the market. Capacitors are generally classified according to the kind of dielectric used in them. So it depends upon the medium or the dielectric. So broadly, capacitor can be grouped such as your capacitor that uses vacuum, air or other gases as dielectrics. So there are capacitors which uses vacuum, which uses air. Of course, it also uses some kind of gaseous. So there are also capacitors in which the dielectric is mineral oil. So there are also dielectric which uses mineral oil. Capacitor in which combination of solid and liquid dielectrics such as paper, film of synthetic material, glass, mica, etc. and mineral oil, silicon, etc. are used. So there are capacitors where the combination of solid and liquid dielectric mediums are also used. Capacitors with only a solid dielectric such as glass, mica, titanium, oxide, etc. So the dielectric medium, if it is only solid, such kind of your capacitors are also available. The first type of capacitor are used in application where the energy loss in capacitor must be small. So the first kind of capacitor, which one? This first one. Let me show you with this bullet point. Yes, this one. The capacitor that use vacuum, air or other gases. So where they are used, where there is small losses are involved. Right? Yes, you can find out from the text. Small losses is involved. So uh, where the value of the capacitance needed is not very large. The dielectric losses in vacuum, air, and other gaseous dielectric are very small. Such capacitors are used in radio frequency circuits and in low frequency measuring circuits, where precision is very desirable. Capacitor using oil as a dielectrics are used in application where a large value of capacitance is required and where a small amount of dielectric loss can be tolerated. So students, if in a particular application you have to bear, I mean, losses will be small. If the requirement, if the losses is small, it is tolerable. And capacitor using this oil or your dielectric used in application where large value of capacitance is required. If large value of capacitance is required, what will the dielectric should be chosen? It should be oil as your dielectric medium. Oil impregnated dielectric paper is used for making capacitor of large values of small size. Such capacitors are required in application where precision is not so important but high value capacitance is the need. So there will be some places where the value of this capacitance will be high but precision is not so important. There may be certain cases, it may not be everywhere, but there will be application where this value of this capacitance needed will be high but the precision may not be a factor. So there what will you do? Such capacitors are required application where precision is not so important but a high value of capacitance is the need. Example, power factor correction in electric power distribution system. So students, in this electric power distribution system we will, yes, this one. Yes, in electric power distribution system, the capacitor used will be high, but the accuracy does not makes any sense. So, in these cases, we can use such kind of capacitors. So, mica has a very high value of dielectric constant and has a high insulation resistance. That is your dielectric strength. Dielectric loss of mica is very small, so in those cases we can use, right? So now electrolytic capacitors. Electrolytic capacitors make use of electrolytic material as polarizing agent. Electrolytic capacitor are fixed value capacitors, so their value is fixed. The capacitance value is fixed. They are polarized device with high capacitance rating, normally used for bypass, coupling, and motor starting appliances. So for I mean for electrolytic capacitors, these are used for fixed value capacitors. They are used for your motor vehicle starting purpose, your coupling, and your for bypass. Certain metals such as tantalum, aluminum, magnesium, titanium, niobium, zirconium, zinc, etc. can be coated with an oxide film by electrochemical means. If such metals are made anodes in suitable electrolytes, the oxides of these metals exhibits different characteristics useful for forming a capacitor. Out of these oxides of tantalum and aluminum are found to be highly suitable. Tantalum oxide in comparison to aluminum oxide is more suitable in electrolytic capacitor but it is costlier. Now, boric acid is also used in electrolytic capacitors. The capacitors are used of highly capacitance type and have high values of dielectric constant. The capacitance with aluminum electrolytes have capacitance as high as approximately about 30 lakh microfarad. The value of dielectric constant for aluminum oxide is 7 and that of tantalum oxide is 11. So students, thank you for watching.